here we are on board the Keras, a cargo ship heading for Iceland. It's carrying grain, it's carrying metalworked goods, all sorts of bits and bobs. Desirable for the Icelandic community. Probably going to be coming back with, I suspect, fish and other Icelandic produce as it heads on its way. But it does also take passengers. And the captain was quite surprised by how many passengers he has on his current journey. He has 8 of them. There's a motley band from London, including a respectable young woman and her chaperone, a doctor/book dealer, a writer, a diplomat, and a bodyguard? He didn't ask too many further questions after you paid him. Also on board the ship, heading the same direction, is a geologist by the name of St. Bellamy, who is travelling out to Iceland to make a study of volcanoes and volcanic rocks. Finally, there is a woman by the name of Mabel Walsh, who you haven't had too much chance to talk to yet. She looks to be in her 60s and has been mostly keeping out of the way of both you and the crew. She seems to be not the most experienced traveller and has spent the last sort of 2 days since you left port in her cabin complaining of seasickness. As you make your way round the coast from London, I don't know enough about shipping currents to know which side of Britain it's best to go up. So, let's say we've been going up the east side and then we'll cut across on the top. We've been sailing up the east coast, rounding Norfolk, heading up along past the rocky coastline of the Scottish coast, and probably stopped off, picked up some goods and in a couple of ports along the way, and are now heading out into sort of more open seas, heading out across towards Iceland. It's going to take some time to get there, and as the boat is rolling now under the full sort of power of the sea, I need all of you to make me a constitution roll, please.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Elsie, D'Angelo and Mortimer, you are feeling a bit sick on this journey. Like, it wasn't too bad with the last bit you were going up to, but now as the ship is making its way across the peaks of the waves, it's just this ever-rolling motion. I don't know how many ships you've been on in the past. I know Mortimer definitely have travelled about in them. Possibly D'Angelo too, but Elsie, has she ever been on a ship before?
No, not a ship. She may have been on a little rowboat once or twice, but no ships.
So yeah, you're currently feeling not cripplingly seasick, but rather queasy as the boat cuts its way off. It's March, but it's still quite grey and cold in these seas, and there's a spattering of rain across the decks. It's up to you. Will you be sticking down to the rather cramped passenger cabins, or trying to find some air up on deck? What would people be up to?
most definitely air up on deck for Elsie.
I think
On deck as well.
there as well. Is there anything you can do or to aid off seasickness?
I don't think there's anything truly effective that I know of. So it's like most forms of motion sickness that everyone has tricks and tips
Yes.
to try and prevent it, but
I think fresh air
some
will
of them
be
are.
get up and have a look at the horizon and the sea.
I'd be on deck.
Alright, so is that everyone up on deck, or? So, the captain just instructs you to sort of stay out of the way of, yes?
Is Miss Plum up on deck, or is she
Oh, if
down?
you are, yes. Sorry, I need to just.
Oh yeah, that might be important information. Yeah, she's
Miss Plum is apparently immune to seasickness and is. But if Elsie is up on deck, then so is she. Sort of trailing after her and offering all sorts of slightly useless advice. Have you tried chewing some ginger? Did we bring any ginger?
I don't know if we brought any ginger.
Oh, we should have brought some ginger. It doesn't work for seasickness. You know, I had a cousin that went all the way out from India and back and used to get awful, terrible seasickness. And I told her, have you tried ginger? And she tried ginger and she's not complained to me of seasickness ever since.
Perhaps the cook on board has some ginger.
I'll have to ask him at dinner tonight. Though, given by the state of the food they've been serving, I do not think they know what ginger is.
well, maybe focusing on the horizon might help.
Very excellent advice from her lieutenant. Oh, it's a good thought. Focus on the horizon.
Keeper, you said it was raining?
Yes, not heavily, just kind of endless sort of just grey drizzle.
Well, I've got a hat on, a nice big broad hat to try to keep the rain off of me, but I've also pulled out a fan to, and I'll just be staring out. Yeah, I'll follow that advice, see if it works.
Okay. It's helping somewhat. But as you focus on the horizon, it's just mostly at the moment just sea as far as the eye can see. It's grey sky, grey sea. And as you look out, please give me a spot hidden check.
Everyone?
This is just Elsie for now.
That's a fail.
It's fine. It's just the sea and the sky.
I've probably got my eyes half closed, just trying not to think of being sick.
So as Elsie stares out over the rail, what are the rest of you doing? Just wandering the deck, leaning on the rail? Anything in particular?
Mortimer's just on the deck doing a similar thing, just looking out to the horizon and the direction we're going to see if we can actually see where we're heading to, or if there's anyone else travelling other ships, that sort of thing. Something to do.
Indeed.
Augustus is doing one of two things. He's probably as far away from everybody as he can be, brooding, but if he sees anything that he can help out on, he's going to immediately go and try to do that, because he's embarrassed about things, how he looked the last time he was around his compatriots and how it ended. But he's either trying to help the crew or obviously brooding away from everybody.
Well, as long as Jan's not offering unsolicited advice, He's probably just gonna go around and, kind of relax. Maybe talk to the geologist a little.
Yes, the geologist is currently up on deck, clutching the rail for dear life. It's a colour somewhere between white and green that is not at all healthy for a human being.
Is the man like British or is he any other nationality?
I think with the name I gave him, very English.
Very English. Okay, so I'm gonna make fun of him a bit for did you never serve in the Navy? Looking at
No, I'm a geologist. I study the ground. The ground stays still.
You know what else stays still? The horizon over there. That one stays
Yeah,
still.
well, it would work if we were staying still, but the fact that we don't stay still, the horizon doesn't stay still.
Oh, that's the problem. What you want
idea.
What you want in Iceland?
We've got volcanoes. I thought I didn't. Good study to go and see igneous rock formation, and it's becoming a more and more terrible idea by the minute. But one can hardly ask the captain to turn the whole boat around.
I mean, let's be honest. You're already committed. You just need to hold on, right? Hold on, stay still, right
and
here.
then live in Iceland forevermore. So I now have to get on another boat.
I mean, I don't think the Icelandic people are gonna be good with the English that you're talking, but
Oh, I speak some Icelandic.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I learned there was one of the professors at Oxford. Before I said I was going to Iceland, so he said he'd teach me some. So I've been taking lessons for the last 6 months to prepare.
Oh, I mean, that's way smarter than we were.
What?
You wouldn't happen to go up to the volcanoes as a geologist, would you?
Yes.
I mean, we kind of just thought that Iceland would be an interesting vacation. So we kind of want to go up to the volcanoes because that's like the whole thing Iceland is known for.
So you're not geologists or anything? You're just...
Not just like people that are being curious and have a bit of money to follow it up with actual action.
I thought people usually went to Greece for that sort of thing.
Exactly, but everybody goes to Greece for that sort of thing.
Well,
I mean, maybe you can tell me a bit about Iceland's volcanoes. Maybe, talking about stuff will, distract you from the Norwegian mouth.
Iceland sits at the lunch and he begins on a mini sort of lecture about the geology of Iceland and why it has so many volcanoes, and
I'll listen.
starts, listing off the names of volcanoes.
Will he name them?
Oh, he names it, and you can tell by the way he says them that he's clearly been practicing naming these volcanoes. Like, he sort of slows down in a sentence and sort of takes a breath and then hits the name in a way that means that someone's been there, sat, reading and practicing it.
I mean,
Can Augustus hear this? Like,
yes,
how-
It's not a very big boat, so...
Okay. Augustus is going to walk over to the geologist, completely ignore Johan, and look at him and say, if you want him to shut up, just let me know, and I'll shut him up. And I look at Johan, and I say, Johan, it's not nice to make fun of people, even if they don't know that you're making fun of them. And I'm going to flick Johan in the forehead and walk off.
He's just jealous.
Right. Friend of yours?
I'm sorry, what?
I asked friend of yours. You seem Sorry,
Yeah,
if I don't
yeah.
mind asking, a interesting group of companions.
Yeah, he's the one that like a particularly um mean-spirited dog that you kind of set on people, listens enough to be not completely useless, but kind of is a bit of hard in like the maintenance department. But very, very useful sort of guy, that Mr. Green.
I presume I hear that. I start barking.
Can we please just no insults right now? No matter how much fun they seem to be, just no insults.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Smith. I kind of got the chance to fire back at Mr. Green, and I kind of had to take it. Mea culpa.
I appreciate no mean-spiritedness, please.
Then that means Johann can't ever talk.
That means you as well, Mr. Green.
I am a cordial gentleman. Where's Mortimer? Mortimer! I just start yelling Mortimer's name.
Bolt was just on deck, not that far away, to be fair.
We both know that doesn't matter. Mortimer!
Yeah, he'll just turn to look to see what's going on.
Come here, please.
Everything fine?
No.
What's wrong?
So I'm not seasick, because I have quite the constitution, but
Yeah.
I am gargantuanly pissed off. I need something to do.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to do on board here, really, to be fair.
Yeah,
Unless you want to play chess or something.
I'm going to go see if I can start a boxing club, and then I go back down below deck.
Okay, if you go back down deck, before we get to anything going down below decks, D'Angelo, are you, as everyone is insulting each other and yelling at each other, what's D'Angelo up to?
Well, if Mr. Green is calling out, then I believe D'Angelo has been asked multiple times to inform his traveling mates that they are rather loud on the ship. So D'Angelo would probably be about to run into Mr. Green as he is coming down and D'Angelo is going up.
Okay, yeah. Yes.
There you are, Mr. Green. I imagine you are doing a bit better than I am with the swaying of the sea.
Yes, D'Angelo. I'm glad I ran into you. You're one of the few people who doesn't piss me off. I need to fight something. I'm going to find a sailor and see if we can start a boxing club.
I do not believe the captain would be very amenable to that.
Well, then it sounds like the captain's the first opponent. I'm bored, D'Angelo. I'm bored and I'm angry and I'm ashamed. I need to fight something.
Have you considered exercising your other muscles, perhaps reading
Like
a book?
my legs? Oh. I mean, I pull out my word of the day dictionary. I go through this every day.
Perhaps you should try something a bit more entertaining.
Like what? You have like a leisurely book?
Oh, I do. It is the first draft of the book I was working on when I met, well, all of you, I suppose.
What's it about?
Reach into. It is a recounting of. Well, it is. Do you recall when there were those spontaneous combustions in London?
Vaguely. I might have been in jail at that time. What
Well,
happens?
this is a more dramatic retelling of those events following a police detective. I think you may find him to be a kindred soul. He is not very good at following the rules, but he does do what he can to help people.
I'm a law-abiding citizen. Once I got some money and got a business card, I found quickly that most of the rules don't actually matter if you have some money and a business card.
Well,
But
that is a...
I will be happy to read your stuff. I can only hope that it has a couple of chapters dedicated to buxom lasses.
I'm sure you can find something that will draw your fancy.
Okay, I'm going to do that because I almost killed Johan. Like, I was really close to killing Johan. Real close.
That would
you
be
might...
frowned upon.
Oh no, whatever will I do on a boat with easy to get rid of bodies. Anyway, I'm going to go read your stuff and just tell me where I can get. I don't want to go through all your things.
It's fine. The book will be on the very first desk you come across. Very difficult to miss.
All right, I'm going to go do that. And I appreciate you, D'Angelo. You're a nerd, but a likable nerd. Tally ho. And I slap you really, really hard on the back. It's a huge moment of endearment. And then I go down to get that book.
Alright. So you head down into the bowels of the ship. As D'Angelo, you head up onto the deck. Mortimer, as you're looking out over the rail, out across the grey sea and the grey sky, you see movement. A bobbing grey shape. And at the first instance, it looks like a seal. But
quite small, I'm guessing not like a whale.
not like a whale, just bobbing grey shape. And you see another, just for an instant close to the boat. Just something moving just underneath the grey surface of the water. Just this shape. You didn't see it clearly. You swore for a moment it looked much more humanoid than seal-like.
Oh, so it's sort of person-sized.
Yes, and then it disappears off down into the dark grey of the water.
Is there anyone else around nearby to me that I can point it out to?
Yeah, Elsie's not too far off.
Yeah, I'll point, as soon as I see him, I'll point him out to Elsie. Can you see those? They look like they could have been seals, but they're not quite right.
I am going to strain my eyes and try to see what he sees.
There's nothing there now, just water and sky.
No, I don't see anything.
It looks like roughly humanoid sort of shaped. I mean, no, I wouldn't go as far as saying that. I suspect, well, fish people. I've seen them before. But there seem to be a couple of them just under the waves nearby. So we'll have to be careful we don't run into something else once it gets dark.
Do you know how many days away we are from landing?
I don't, but we could were we given an idea how long it would take us to get there?
I think from where you are now, you're probably a couple of days out. 2 or 3 days.
2 or 3 days.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think we'll have to be careful and let everyone else know we might have trouble. So we just need to be prepared in case something happens. It could be nothing. It could have been my imagination. But it's just a bit strange. They looked like seals, but, well, no, they didn't. They looked like... No, I'm not sure. It's just a bit strange, but there you go.
Well, mermaids or sirens, whichever they are, pitching it just slightly louder than what we were saying, whatever, just in case anybody was overhearing it.
Yeah.
Hopefully they are just seals or whales. Oh, I would love to see a whale. That might be distracting enough.
Could be. There's a lot of stories about things up here, so who knows?
Do you have any peppermint?
It's possible I'll have some. I'll have to check my cabin. I might have brought something in case of seasickness.
I've heard that's another thing that can help.
If you give me a couple of minutes, I'll just go and check, and I'll head to my cabin to check to see if I brought any.
Okay, as you head down, Augustus had already headed down into sort of the underdeck. Were you were looking for other people, or just going to the cabins to try and get D'Angelo's book?
I am going to go get that book, but if I see anybody who might need help or anything interesting, I would stop. Augustus is looking for a diversion.
Okay, as you head down, you can hear voices coming from like where forgotten the word, sailors, that's the word, I'm going to call them the ship operators. The sailors are finishing up a meal. You can hear a mixture of heavily Scots accented English and Icelandic, sort of spoken by the sailors who are running this route. There's a smattering of other things and accents mixed in there as well. It sounds like there's a game of dice ongoing.
Augustus does love gambling.
Shit to one side.
Augustus does love gambling. Is there any boxing going on?
There is
Perhaps
no
a fight
boxing
club.
going on. There seems to be. It's quite a small room, and there's like 6 men crammed in around a table with like bowls shoved off to one side, and a couple of them throwing dice.
Augustus has this urge to fight all of them and try to take their money, but he's gonna stop and listen. He's gonna see if they have any interesting gossip.
So a couple of them to one side are having a conversation in Icelandic that I don't believe you understand.
I don't.
But 2 others are talking in English, and I will not attempt any accents. I can't do a Scottish accent.
Okay.
And they say, maybe she's dead. Should we knock on the door? Nah, she'll just be sick. Look, one less passenger wandering around the deck. It's fine. It's cluttered up there. Everywhere I go, there's people trying to, haul coal over to the furnace, and there's just people poking around in every corner. What do you want to go to Iceland for anyway? No offense, Beyond, but I mean, there's nothing there. Well, if she's dead, we'll just chuck her overboard later. We can't just.
You can't just. That pissed off Augustus, because I've seen she's an older woman, right? And Augustus does have respect for his elders, especially if they're not in a punchable situation. So Augustus will say, "You can't just throw people over the board, you fucking asshole."
Jesus fucking Christ. How long have you been there?
Long enough to hear you out yourself as a piece of crap.
I was joking. It was a joke. We don't throw people overboard.
Yeah. You don't.
No.
Usually.
That was another joke. You got no sense of humor.
Or you're really, really shitty at jokes. Hey, I have a joke for you. What did the 5 fingers say to the face?
Fuck is threatening me? Are you threatening me?
Do you not know the punchline?
No, but that sounds like a threat.
You're the punchline, and I'm just gonna deck them.
Okay. So, roll me a fighting brawl as chairs are shoved backwards. The other 5
dear.
sailors jump to their feet. And you just sock this guy in the face. He sort of popples backwards, the chair goes over, like he catches himself on the edge of the table as a crash of bowls. Mortimer, as you're heading down to get some mint for Elsie, you hear a commotion going on from just a little further down the corridor.
Yeah, I'll head towards it. I could probably guess.
As you head towards it, two of the sailors take a swing for Augustus.
I am screaming, you want to threaten an old lady, you piece of trash? And I'm going to try to fight back if I can.
Yeah, you can give a fight back. I think you got a penalty of the second one because of outnumbered. I can't remember.
Okay, so...
the first one?
Okay. First one is a fail. Oh, God. And then...
I need more
the
dice.
second one is 2 dice. Okay.
Okay, the second one... Yeah. He misses. The first one, though, just socks you in the side of the face. Punch. 1d3 plus damage bonus, is that correct? No, 1d6 plus. It's been a while. How do I punch? Can you remember how to punch people?
1d3 plus damage bonus.
Yes, thank you. Just got to quickly on the fly. Look out. Are you getting punched by the skinny sailor or the big sailor?
They all bleed. They all bleed. Just like me.
Yeah, you hear this just shouting voices over and all over the top of each other as they all sort of spring to the defense of their presumably friend, but in the minimum colleague.
Another question, Keeper. Would I have healed up any more this week?
Do you still have a major wound?
Not a major wound, no. I've still got some healing to do.
In which case, yeah, you'd be healing up at the normal rate, which I think is 1d3 a week for the last 2
I
weeks.
think it'll be another D3 then. How many? Oh, it's been a couple of weeks.
Yes. Ooh. Augustus, you take 7 points of damage from this guy's punch. As he comes to the defense of his friend. He just socks you straight in the face.
I'm stoked.
His friend misses you. Mortimer, you arrive at the door as Augustus. Are you carrying on this fight?
Oh, yeah. I am, I'm the one that hit me.
Yeah.
I imagine he hit me really hard, so I imagine he split my lip or my nose, or I'm missing a tooth. Like, it's really bad.
Hang on, what's your maximum hit points?
12.
I need you to make me a constitution roll, please.
Whoa.
Because that is a major wound that he gave you.
Constitution.
You're still conscious. You're knocked back against the table, or knocked back against the doorframe, but you're still conscious.
Mm-hmm.
You see Augustus come half flying out of this room.
What's happened? Why are you all fighting?
Scream, he threatened an old lady.
It punched James!
And then I punched James because he threatened an old lady, and I'm gonna sock the guy who socked me.
Alright.
Oh my gosh.
Just dodges to one side.
I'm just fighting. I mean, it's just silly fighting on the ship. I mean,
he started it.
Remember when you cut me on the ship? Sword King.
One of the other sailors just go, your friend is right, this is foolish. Stop it now.
I will if he apologizes.
If he apologizes, you punched him.
He threatened an old lady.
It was a joke.
Who laughed? If no one laughs, it's not a joke.
well, Mr. Green, I know something that'll distract you from this. If you'll come with me briefly.
if I walk away, it means I lost the fight, Mortimer, which...
Looks like you won it, though, to me.
He fucked up my face. He hit me hard and good. There's 2 of them,
Yeah.
but he hit me hard and good. If I walk away, it means he won.
How the guy who punched Augustus, sort of wiping blood from his fist, turns to Mortimer and says, "Tell your friend that James might have been joking, but I'm not. If he carries on causing us trouble, we put him off the boat at the next bit of land we come across, no matter how small it might be." There's lots of rocks in this around the coast of Iceland that would be a lovely new home for him. Now, I am going to go tell the captain about this little trouble we've had with our passengers.
Yeah, about your guy threatening an old lady.
Lots of little rocks.
I look at him.
He gives you a nod and turns away.
Yeah, they're all tough when there's 6 of you.
Walks off.
It's the way of the world. Fucking rocks.
Well, anyway, now that that's dealt with, Mr. Green, I'll need your help with something.
All right, Mortimer. Can you patch me up first?
Oh, I'll patch you up. I've got to go to my cabin to get some peppermint for Miss Smith to see if it'll help her feel better. But there was some news I needed to give you, so I'll patch you up once we get there. Got all my medical stuff in the room anyway.
All right, Mortimer.
Well, as we're heading towards it, I'll mention sort of quietly. I won't be whispering, but I'll be keeping it a bit quiet if I can. I think I saw some fish people just off swimming near the ship.
Oh. I got 2 guns, 1 big knife, and my father's temper. If there's fish people, there's fish people.
Yeah, we'll have to be ready in case there's trouble. I suspect there won't be anything whilst it's light.
Well, now I feel bad. If I had known that there's fish people, I wouldn't have gone brawling with the sailors.
But
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's actually one of the worst things about you, Mortimer, is you're almost never wrong.
sometimes I am, unfortunately, and when I am, I'm very wrong. But should we do a medicine roll, Keeper, to first aid, actually.
First aid, yes, this will be first aid. You haven't really got the facilities for full-on medicine on board.
Success on the first aid.
Okay, that's 1d3, I believe.
Let's see. No, just the one.
You get, patched up some of the damage, and
I'm just thinking the major wound. How's that dealt with?
at the end of after some time, he'll get to the roll, see if it's recovered.
Oh, I can't do a medicine roll to try and heal him further, can I?
Not today. I'd say when you're on dry land, when you're not on a boat, then perhaps.
I'll probably stop the bleed.
Now, first aid is the best you can offer.
So I've patched up the worst of it, but
It's fine, Mortimer. It's fine. I am a little old to go fighting multiple people at once. I used to make money in the streets fighting 3 men at a time, but that's when I was 25.
I do think you'd have won that fight, though.
If it was one guy, yeah, I'd have fucking dented him, and fucking danced on his fucking carcass.
I'll grab the. I'll check to see if I've got any peppermint. What would I need to roll? Anything?
A luck roll, I think. Did you remember to pack your peppermint?
Well, I've got a lot of luck, luckily.
What?
Hey.
What?
Because I've not spent any and I keep getting given more.
What? Why did you not spend your luck?
Would you say I've We found some ginger as well, just on the off
Yes,
chance.
I'd say it's a hard success. You've got ginger and peppermint in there. Like, you know those lumps of crystallized ginger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably bring a bag of that, or a small paper bag of that, and a few other bits up.
Well, could the people on deck give me a listen roll to see how much of all that commotion downstairs they overheard?
I mean, I'm giving you that 1 point in luck.
So, yeah. D'Angelo and Elsie, you are blissfully oblivious to any trouble going on below deck. Johan...
Look, these waves are bothering us.
Heard raised voices down there? The sound of things being knocked over? You swear you heard Augusta shouting down below somewhere, just muffled and by the deck of the ship. Are you alright, Mr. Zutanen?
Oh, it's fine. I shouldn't have poked fun at the guy. He'll probably go out and cause some trouble. And now I gotta deal with that. I should have known better, but you know, he keeps poking fun at me, and I can't. You know, he's got to get feedback for that sometime, doesn't he? Oh well, I'll go downstairs and try to.
Bait.
Huh? I'm sorry. What?
Sometimes it's just better not to rise to the bait.
Yeah, I mean I know, but you know, it's just if there's like the chance, and it's like this beautiful, perfect chance to just get this little poke. I'm not the best person to stand above that. I try to be, but sadly, the consequences is that I'll have to deal with whatever's been caused downstairs, and I'll be back in a minute or 20. I don't know. I hope Mr. Davenport found you your cures.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If we have to do anything with the captain in regards to whatever's happened, let us know. I'm certain Miss Plum would be able to help smooth things over.
Oh, I'm fairly sure that the captain doesn't pose a problem. I think it's more likely that he found somebody of the crew that he didn't like the nose of or anything, and they probably just brawled downstairs or something. Who knows? Who knows? I'll be going downstairs.
So as you head downstairs, you pass Mortimer coming up with his medical supplies.
Yeah.
Johan, just whilst you're here, I think we might have a problem. Oh, by the way, just so you know, Mr. Green got in a bit of a scuffle with some of the crewmen just further on.
Yeah, I think I have.
But anyhow, when I was on deck before, I thought I saw some fish people.
Oh.
Could have been completely wrong, but they seem to be more humanoid than seals, just swimming just under the waves in the direction the ship was going. So it's something to be aware of, just in case. I've told Miss Smith and Mr. Green, but if I don't see D'Angelo, could you let him know?
Yeah. I will. I'm gonna go downstairs to try and figure out what the hell happened.
Yeah, I suspect nothing will happen in regards to fish people till the evening, when there's fewer people on deck. I didn't have a chance to check, but if the crewman who is injured in the fight needs medical attention, I can help. So just let me know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've got to take these up for Miss Smith, so I'll see you later. I mean,
See you later.
not as if we're going to go far, I'll probably bump into you again some point soon. And I'll just head up.
So Mortimer heads, he's on his way up, and Johan, you head on down. So,
I think I'd bump into Johan.
yes.
Johan, come here.
Augustus, what happened?
Okay. So I was walking down to get a book,
Hmm.
minding my own business.
Hmm.
I heard people talking. I always stop to listen because you never know what you're going to hear.
Mhm.
That asshole that I punched was threatening to throw over that old sick lady because he thought that she was inconvenient. I asked him to apologize because that's not something you joke about. And he started making fun of me. And I
Because it's
asked
not
him to
me.
apologize again. And he didn't do it, so he got punched. And then they ganged up on me. So, I don't want you to try to smooth this crap over, but I want you to know that I think that you are a crappy person too, because you were up there poking fun at that poor rock boy or whatever the hell his job is, laughing at him. He didn't even know that you were making fun of him. And you're a bully, just like I am. But at least when I bully somebody, they have the decency, or I give them the decency to know that I'm bullying them. I don't care how tall you are. You're a small man, and I think you're rude, and I think that you're a hypocrite.
You know, it's using like your fists, those honestly impressive muscles to solve your problem is the easy way, right? Somebody
Yeah, I
as
should
small
just
as I
make fun of
am,
someone.
somebody as small as I am doesn't have that way. So basically, I use my mouth for that.
Well, Johan, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've taken the time to better myself intellectually. Lord knows it wouldn't hurt you to know how to throw a jab, but at least I don't go out trying to make people feel small and intellectually inferior. So you go ahead and put on your fancy clothes and act like you're better than everybody else. At least I have the decency to be outward and honest about who and what I am.
That's fair.
I walk by you. You're not a
Oh.
bad guy. You're just not a good guy. Join the club.
I don't think anybody is.
Mortimer and D'Angelo are good guys. I like the cut of Elsie's jib. She seems like a good person. It's just that men like you and me, we're the ones who burn. I just happen to know where I'm going. And I just go upstairs.
You walking up already? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
You know, we can talk about that later. I'm gonna go clean up.
Woof.
okay.
Good boy.
Meanwhile, up on deck, sort of a little set aside from all this to and forth and commotion, D'Angelo. Over the side of the rail, you see movement in the water. Shadow of something swimming beneath the surface. Something big. This big, dark, looming shape beneath the surface of the water. Then there is a splash and a sudden burst of water as a whale reaches the surface of the water, directly beside the boat. This huge form just for a moment is up and out of the water before plunging back into the depths below.
Nerves are a bit on edge. Oh, I don't suppose anyone else is around?
I think Elsie is up on deck. She's probably on the other side of the ship. So Elsie, you hear this noise. By the time you look over, the whale is disappearing back down under the water.
Did I see the end of the tail?
Yes, you caught the end of the tail.
I am going to be excited. Oh, look at that! Miss Plum, did you see? There's a whale there, but I'm going to cross the ship.
I was looking the other way. Yes, you cross the ship, so you're over beside where D'Angelo is.
I'm going to
Oh.
look over into the water. see if I can still see it.
Give me a spot hidden as you peer down into the water.
Oh, that's an extreme success.
You catch the shadowy form of the whale disappearing deeper into the waters. And then for a moment, you think you glimpse something else. In the grey waters, you think there are lights down there, glimmering down deep in the depths. And you look up, it's a grey day, it's not a reflection of the sun or anything. It's glimmering lights down deep beneath the water's surface.
Do we know about bioluminescence at this point?
I think you would know that there are things that do small sort of fish and things like that luminesce. Actually, make me a natural world check, because this never gets to come up.
No, that's a fail.
Yeah, Elsie doesn't really know much about them.
Mr. Williams, do you see that? And I'm going to point at the lights. I'm pointing with my folded fan.
There are things that make lights in water. I'm afraid it's never been my expertise. I've never been a big scholar of biology, but I imagine there may be some plants or something. I take it you are not a traveler of the world, Miss Smith?
Oh no, I've grown up mostly in the countryside. So this is my first trip on the boat. So this is quite awe-inspiring. Seeing things like this and the whale. Oh, I wish I had seen the whole thing.
They are quite a sight to behold. Usually not from quite this close. That is a little odd, but perhaps if you stay and things are quiet long enough, you'll see it again.
I'm going to continue looking out over the railing into the water to see if I can find the whale again. And maybe keep an eye on the glowing things.
The boat passes on by and the glowing things fade in the distance, but you do catch a few more glimpses of movement, and then a little further off, you see once more the whale emerge from the depths of the water, or maybe a different whale, then plunge back down again.
I'm going to squeal in excitement when I see it.
Very fortunate day. Do I know if there's anything strange about this keeper?
Maybe you can give me a mythos check if that's what you're talking
Oh.
about.
Sure. I will never refuse such a role. Nope. Well.
No.
Fumble.
Nothing you know of. Oh, a fumble. What does one fumble a mythos check?
Instantly summon something he shouldn't.
Nah. It's just looking over the well as just thinking. I need a sanity roll from you, please.
Goodness.
Thinking. Sorry, you're fine. Just for a moment, just the thoughts of the depth of water beneath you and all the horrible things that could be lurking down there passes through your mind, but you're able to shake it off without much trouble.
Yes, they are beautiful.
Meanwhile, down below decks, I think Johann's the only one down there currently. As the captain comes marching towards the mess room and looks around and sees Johann.
Captain.
What is the meaning of this? What is going on?
Oh, as far as I'm aware, I think a couple of our subordinates had a little scuffle.
I will not have your servant inciting brawls amidst the crew.
Look, Captain, I think you are as aware as I am that occasionally the behavior of our subordinates aren't as easily to control as we would like. I don't think this is worth breaking off a fuss about.
Give me a charm or a persuade here.
That was a success.
Look, I know that Bjorn said that James was partly to blame. He was making some jokes in ill taste. But look, I would ask that you keep your man out of the way of the rest of the crew for the rest of the journey.
I will try
I
to.
don't want to see him down here. I don't want him talking to the crew. I'd threatened to put him off the boat, but we're miles from any land, so that would be a rather hollow threat. I'm not about to throw a man off into the ocean.
I can't recommend action like that. Action like that usually has consequences, and let's be honest, both of us really do not want the hassle that sort of action would.
Do not.
Yeah.
Look, just tell him to keep mind his own business, and hopefully then we can get to Reykjavik in one piece.
Probably we will. I don't think.
If he causes any more trouble, we don't have a brig. We have not a naval vessel, but we could lock him in a cupboard.
I don't think there's a cupboard yet designed to hold that man, but you're free to prove me wrong.
Yes. Well, hopefully it won't come to that.
I do hope so too.
Alright. Glad you're understanding. Right. I'm gonna go stop the rest of them from starting any brawls. Chucking anyone overboard in the middle of the night. They're very loyal to one another, you know.
Yeah. That's just... The man is, he grew up in, like, a bit of a dangerous neighborhood, and therefore he's, like, easily on the trigger to prove that, that he's not to be messed with. I don't think there's another situation that would involve the same people, at least.
Good.
I do hope that there's not gonna be any similar issues.
Hope so too. Right. Good day.
Good day. And I hope everything's fine otherwise in terms of the...
Yes, everything else is fine.
Good to hear. Didn't even have to threaten him with anything else. That's fine.
So, as the boat makes its way onwards across the ocean, is there anything anyone would like to get up to in the next day or two as you're drawing nearer to Iceland?
Well, Mortimer wants to give Miss Smith the peppermint that can be used as a tea and the ginger. And then he wants to check on the other passengers not turned up yet.
Okay. Down to the door of Mabel, the old lady.
Elsie would like to, if there's no rain at some point, she would like to pull out her sketchbook and maybe draw some of the crew at work, or maybe try to draw the whale's tail that she saw earlier.
Indeed. You know what? Make me a roll, please. Make me an art roll. Let's see how good these sketches and drawings are. You're working on it.
It's a concept.
It's not the easiest place to do painting because the dex doesn't stay still very well.
You know what? It's probably still raining when I tried. It smeared everything.
It's just a bit damp. Like a combination of a bit of drizzle and like some spray as a wave hits the side of the boat. Just as you feel you're getting it right, and it just sprays salt water all over it. But it's not bad. So yeah, Mortimer, you knock on the door of Mrs. Walsh's cabin.
Yes, I'll just knock on the door and ask, are you well?
Oh, no dear, not well. But I don't think there's anything you can do. No, boats.
I've got some peppermint and ginger that might help you. I don't know if that'll help.
Oh, you do?
Try.
One moment. The door opens and you see this little old lady. And also what should I sort of a strong smell of sort of stale vomit from this closed-in cabin.
Not a snake?
No, not snake smell. Just like this.
Not fish?
I mean, there's background boat fish smell everywhere. But...
Just making sure she doesn't smell of a snake. Okay, I'm Dr. Mortimer Davenport, and one of my friends was feeling...
doctor. I didn't know there was a doctor on board. Oh,
well, I was travelling to Iceland.
Mabel Walsh.
Pleasure to meet you. But yeah, here's some peppermint and some ginger. I've given some to a friend of mine who's feeling poorly as well.
Oh, thank you, dear. How kind of you.
Is there anything strange about her that I can pick up on? Will you let me a psychology roll?
Yeah, give me a psychology roll on her demeanour.
Suspect everyone. No, it's a fail. Never mind.
Hard to tell anything. She's sipping at the tea.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'll better leave you to it. And
oh, yeah, sorry, I've not been a very what's the word? Friendly passenger. I've just felt just awful, absolutely awful. But
well, hopefully you feel better soon. We shouldn't be on the sea for much longer.
Oh yes, I had no idea how far Iceland was.
No, it's a bit longer than I expected to as well. But it's only a couple of days left.
Oh,
pass quickly.
Couple of days. Oh, dear Lord in heaven.
It should pass quickly.
Days.
What brings you to Iceland? It's a bit of a strange holiday destination, isn't it?
Oh, not a holiday, well, not for me. And she sort of nods over to it, a suitcase lent up against the side. My late husband. Ralph, he always wanted to go to Iceland. He had a thing about volcanoes. He wanted to see volcanoes. And he wanted to go to Iceland. And, well, not exactly a trip everyone makes. And then
no.
It was too late.
So, the idea seemed good at the time, but now I'm actually on the boat heading to Iceland. It seems there are better places to have gone to.
We didn't have a burial plot, and so I opted to get a cremation, I thought, and then take him out to see those volcanoes he's always wanted to be seeing.
Well, there's plenty of them in Iceland. I think the geologist who is on the ship, he's looking to investigate, I think Mr. Bellamy, he's looking into the volcanoes as well.
Well, he might be helpful, because I've got a map, but I
think he'll be
a good idea at the time.
I think he'll be the best person. He can actually pronounce the names as well.
Oh, I can barely read them. But I'll have to ask him once we hit land and I'll feel a bit more myself.
Better soon, and
yes.
I'll better leave you to it.
Good luck with your trip.
You too. And I'll make my exit.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Augustus would have two things. One would be, in his spare time, which he has probably more of now, he'd really be reading D'Angelo's book and at a pretty vigorous pace. But before he got to that, I would probably go up on the deck where Elsie is, and I would walk up to her and I would simply say, it doesn't matter what they say about me, and it doesn't matter what they think about me. If anyone ever threatened to throw you over the boat, I would fight them too, whether there's 6 of them or 60. And that's what makes Augustus Green, damn it. And then I would promptly turn on my heels and march back down to the deck, grab the book from D'Angelo's compartment, hop on my bed, and just read it vigorously.
I am going to be very confused about everything that just happened. Especially when he walks away before giving her a chance to respond.
Cynthia kind of looks over in the direction that Augustus went and goes, he is a very strange man. I'm not sure I quite like you associating with him.
Well, it seems he's employed with the household. And I don't want to be the kind of person to shove a person out for no valid reason. Plus, he has his daughter to take care of, and she's quite reasonable.
Yes, well, she is. Though I'm not sure they're related, which could explain how one came out so reasonable. But
Still,
well, at least we're making the most of seeing some nature, and it's proving to be quite an educational trip so far.
yes, that ginger seems to be helping.
Oh, good.
Thankfully, Dr. Davenport had some.
I consider myself blessed not to suffer from seasickness. I do pity those that do. It's awfully horrible. Well, only a few more days of this. And so, boat moves on its way. Yes?
D'Angelo would like to be spending his time practicing with his new sword in his room to get the hang of how to use a sword.
Yes, I say add a skill to your sheet, which is sword, and set it to your current fighting brawl.
I didn't even know I could do that. Okay, hold on.
And we'll see. It might be you end up a sword master. And for now, give me a roll with your new sword skill. See how.
Sure.
Let's see how the practice is going. If you give it a few swings.
A hard success.
Yeah, we can take it. Just swing back and forth. Sort of, not sure what you're targeting and what you're practicing in the small cabin, but it feels natural in your hand. It feels just like an extension of your arm. I mean, it is in a way. It's a part of you in this blade. It's a rapier, so it's more of a jabbing back and forth. But yeah, you're seemingly a sword natural. But as you make your way onwards, the boat's dipping and swaying over the waters. The next couple of days pass by, and then on the horizon, you see something you didn't know you could miss quite so much. The jagged grey shapes of land starting to come into view as you begin to circle your way around the coast of Iceland towards Reykjavik. And we'll pick up after the break. a sunny late March day when the Keres pulls into the harbour of Reykjavik. Reykjavik at this time is... I think calling it a city might be slightly generous. It's more of a town around a harbour, trailing out into a scattering of sort of huts and houses. There's a bustle on the harbour front as the boat pulls in. Like people hurrying up to unload things, to greet perhaps members of family who work on the crew that they've not seen for some time, old friends. You hear chatter back and forth, mostly in Icelandic. Which you don't understand, but you would understand enough perhaps to understand some greetings. Johan especially, I think some of the greetings are slightly more similar to German maybe. But and all of you enough can recognise like good morning and hello, and just people just generally it seems to be a friendly welcome. The captain tasks the crew of unloading your bags and getting you back down onto the harbour. As he goes to Johan, we'll be here for 3 days. Then we're heading back. If you miss us, then I think there should be another boat coming through next week, hopefully. Maybe the week after. So, just to let you know.
Thanks a lot. Well, we will see how long we take. Even if we're not there. Let's be honest, it's probably better not to have Augustus and Mr. How was his name? Together on the same boat for way back.
Probably yes. Well, if this is the case, then we part ways here.
Yeah. Thanks for the splendid travel. Apart from the little couple down below, it's been a pleasant ride. You've kept the boat very stable. I appreciate that a lot. You're a man of your craft.
Well, I didn't think. I always consider that a successful journey.
I guess
over those waters.
Not that anybody would be able to complain afterwards, right? At least not to you.
Not to me. Well,
well,
good luck
maybe until on your way back.
Lodging. There's a few inns and guest houses in the town. And I think I've got all your bags off ship. If you think anything's missing, come back and ask.
Yeah, we got 3 times to find anything that might be missing.
Exactly.
All right.
Slightly less stuff than that fellow. He nods over to the geologist who is there unloading his stacks of essentially empty specimen cases.
Well, a man of science. He needs all his specimens.
Oh, careful with those, careful with those. They just throw stuff around like anything.
Well, we never know. He might find something valuable.
Yeah. So the captain goes back sort of overseeing the unloading of cargo. Mr. Bellamy, the geologist, is fussing over his stack of cases. You see the rather unsteady and pale-looking Mrs. Walsh hobble her way down the gangplank, looking around, looking a bit lost in the bustle of the harbour. And yeah, welcome to Reykjavik. What next?
Mrs. Walsh was the woman that was traveling with
Yes.
Oh, where to?
Well, maybe trying to find a place to, spend the night. Or
Oh, let's just go do it now. Let's just go to the volcano now.
I'm sorry, but I'm a little unsteady on my feet at the moment. I think a night of rest would be good.
I understand.
get our bags sorted out in some sort of accommodation, and we'll see what sort of time we've got left after that.
That sounds like a plan. Miss Smith, do you need an arm to hold on to?
Yes, please.
There you go. Well, now, I'm helping.
All right. Shall we begin?
Have a look around. Is Mrs. Walsh okay, or?
She's kind of looking. She's there with her bag, sort of looking around.
Mrs. Walsh, we're heading to try and find some accommodation. If you want to head in the same direction as us, unless you've got something planned ahead.
No, that would be marvelous, dear. That would be lovely to tag along.
Yes.
It's not too much trouble.
It's a bit hectic here, but I'm
Not
sure we
too
can.
fast on my feet anymore. I don't want little old me to hold you young folks up.
Oh, it's no problem. The captain's just told us where we might find some accommodation, which area of the city, so we'll see how it goes.
I will walk up and respectfully put my arm out for her to, take her bags, anything that she's carrying.
Oh, thank you. Very kind of you.
Yes, I am exceptionally kind, even though many folks cannot see such a thing. I will do anything and anything you might need.
Don't worry too much about what other people think about you, dear. Just,
I-
as long as you know that you're always doing the right thing by yourself and by God, then you're still
That's right.
on a true path.
I am on the true path, and I am a godly man.
Good.
Thank you. A righteous warrior indeed. And then I will make exceptionally pleasant small talk with her as we go from point A to point B.
So you make your way over. It appears to be sort of an income guest house, sort of some distance from the harbour that the captain had pointed out. It doesn't look particularly busy and bustling, but there is a man sort of sat outside smoking a pipe. And he looks up as you approach. Hey?
I'm sorry, is this the guest house in this town?
Ah, yes. English?
Yeah. I mean, unless you speak German, but
Ambition.
okay. So I'm going to switch to German. I'm going to tell them that we need like a place to rest for the night.
Ah, yes. How many rooms? He says, replying in sort of unpracticed and sort of slightly sort of grammatically wobbly German. But
Well, that's fine. I'll get a room for every single one of us. If that's enough, if there's enough rooms in the entire tavern for that.
Well, when I said how many rooms, I've got 4 rooms, so,
We'll take 4 then.
yes. Should have been clearer. So, if you want all 4, you can have all 4.
Well, we will take all 4 and we'll find out how to divide them up between us.
Will you be wanting dinner tonight?
I'm assuming so.
Right, I'll get, Thelma to get something cooking.
That sounds nice. Thanks.
Wonderful. Let me help take your bags, sir.
Sure. I'm looking around. I think everybody has their bags on themselves, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't think that'll be necessary.
Well,
There's no faster if we just take it up ourselves.
so still speaking in German, he sort of gestures over to everyone else and goes, this way, gentlemen.
Oh yeah, right. To those probably in English.
Oh, one German. Rest English. This way, gentlemen. Lady. As I said to your friend here, I have 4 rooms. If you want more rooms, Dangrun, down 3 streets away, has more rooms. But I have 4.
I think we'll be fine with the 4, right?
I think so.
I
believe we
can
can-
share with Miss Smith.
I was just
D'Angelo.
going to suggest the same.
Let's bunk up,
It
buddy.
It would be my honor, Mr. Green.
We can talk about this incredible book you've written.
I was
Would
just,
appreciate nothing more.
which book was it Mr. Green was reading? Not the Mythos book that D'Angelo has.
No,
No,
it's D'Angelo's
absolutely not.
book.
D'Angelo has a Mythos book.
It's certainly not that. It is my recounting of the events during which we met, Mr. Davenport, actually. A bit embellished.
Oh, it's marvelous, marvelous. Being a writer is a real career, not being. Well, there are some things that we all do professionally that we don't like. However, I will. If there's not a room for my charming new friend, and I point to the lady whose bags I'm carrying.
I can go over to the next tavern place if there's no room for me here.
No,
Sure, you're
I
right.
insist. There's absolutely room for you here. But
I
if
mean,
you
how-
want to go over there, I will carry your bags for you as well.
If
I think-
Miss Plum and I are sharing a room, and Mr. Green and Mr. Williams is sharing a room, perhaps Dr. Davenport and Herr Zutanen can share a room, and you would get the last room.
Oh, as long as that's not too much trouble.
It's not.
No trouble at all.
Oh, well, thank you, dear. Thank you.
I don't want to be the one that, disturbs that generous plan, so I think I'll accede that.
How magnanimous.
Right?
I mean, if that doesn't work, I'm certain, and I look to Miss Plum, if we need to share a room with Mrs. Walsh, we can.
Oh, there's no problem there. I've just tried to be, but,
Well, it will be cramped in there with Mortimer, Johann, and Johann's ego. So let's get you all packed in. And I walk over to our friend's home, or new home, I should say, carrying her bags. In a jolly mood, actually.
I'll just whisper to Mortimer. Well, we're lucky that I'm used to sleeping in the same bed as my ego.
I'm surprised there's space up with your ego as well.
I guess it's time. It's a matter of time when you get used to anything.
Well, at least we're on land now.
True.
Oh,
No.
if I might suggest that we split up and take care of ourselves for an hour or so, and then we can meet up, discuss what needs to be done in the future.
Yes, we'll have to decide which volcano. I think we've had a chance to look up which ones will be closest to us. So,
Yes.
did anyone chat to that Mr. Bellamy to see which volcano he was going to investigate? Because it might be handy having an expert.
Oh goodness, did we take all the rooms in this establishment, leaving him to go walk further with all of his things?
I do think we might have. Well, we will. His stuff is probably gonna be able to find a place here, and maybe we can have him bunk down in one of our rooms if he would like.
Oh, he's rich. He's rich. And, it'll be okay. He probably wants to be by himself.
The latter's probably true. The former storyteller. Did the guy strike me as rich?
Make me hidden psychology or a credit rating check for rich recognizing rich.
So no, he's poor.
He wasn't poor. He seemed like someone. He had an air of old money in a way that might not necessarily mean that he still has any money. He carried himself like someone who thinks he's rich.
Oh, okay. So like he should be fine. Even if the letter, if he doesn't find the tavern, he's gonna find some local fisherman to rent a room in. I do not think that there's any worry we need to have about the financial situation of that person.
It's very likely he's planned this trip in advance, so he's probably got somewhere in mind with enough space for his luggage.
True. Also, he struck me as somebody of my own ilk. He's probably gonna be fine.
He has no friends, and sorry, my apologies.
Augustus, you really don't want to extend that, do you?
Why did I hit a nerve?
I was considering apologizing for my, let's be honest, pretty mean behavior on the boat. But
Oh, it's okay. I don't want anyone to ever apologize for being who they truly are.
true. I understand that.
I'm sure they taught you that in fancy lad school. Anyway, Mortimer, if you could attend to my wounds that I got while I what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, sticking up for somebody, Johan. It's a foreign concept. I'm sure they have it in fancy lad books somewhere. That would be great. But if you're busy, Mortimer, I understand.
No, it's no problem. No,
Thank you.
it'll be easy enough to try and patch you up. Keeper, should I do a
Yes.
medicine roll now?
Yes. Now you're on dry land. You've got some more time resources. It's not
Some
space.
time.
Yeah.
Success.
Okay,
Yes.
Give me 1d3.
Wonders of Victorian medicine. 1.
I'll take it. I'll take it all day.
Yeah, you got one more hit point. One more point of health.
I can't
I'm at
read
7.
potions.
But yeah. How many? You got 7. You're at half health.
Yep.
At which point I think you can untick the major wound for now.
Okay.
But,
Thank you for that,
still
Mortimer.
pretty
I think one of my gums is no longer split.
At least now it can heal up. It should be fine.
Mortimer, I want you to know something.
Okay.
You're a damn good doctor and an even
I
better
am.
man.
Thank you.
I'm gonna need you to leave now, though. I'm still really pissed off, and I don't want to lash out.
No problem at all.
Thank you.
Need to leave you and D'Angelo to sort out your room, and I'll have to sort out mine.
Yeah, D'Angelo has a soothing effect on me. He's very nonplussed. I like that.
He is an interesting person, but I'll leave you to it anyhow, and I'll fix it, knowing it's a good time to leave.
So, does anyone have anything they would like to do before you're all together for dinner? Apart from just unpacking your stuff? Is anyone up to anything nefarious?
I would clean my guns and sharpen my knife.
I will read some of the book of the magic book. The book of Ibon, I believe.
It is. I think Mortimer will just be making sure he's got his guns and everything he needs for the journey, and also perhaps have a look up any information we picked up on Iceland and the volcanoes before we set off. Just basic information that we had.
Make me a natural world check. Let's see how much you know about volcanoes.
He probably doesn't know anything. I was thinking he would have looked up in books and things like that.
I'll build from this.
Nah, it's a fumble on his natural world. He doesn't know what a volcano is.
You know that Iceland has lots of volcanoes. You got a map that says where the volcanoes are. The nearest volcano, I think, to Reykjavik is either there are some if you go to the south east towards Hekla and Vatafjall to the Katla, or there are some if you go more northwest towards Snaresvaljökull, which is, hang on, let me just, is Mortimer much of a reader of novels and frivolous science fantasy, or not?
I'd say all books. I don't think he
In which case,
all books. I mean, he's probably read all sorts.
you would have heard of the last one I said that Snaresvaljökull. I am not pronouncing that correctly. Featured in a recent, well, not even that recent actually. It was published about almost 20 years ago now, but it's been translated into English and it's been growing some fame. The Journey to the Centre of the Earth by Jules Verne.
Interesting read.
Because Iceland was where they began their descent.
There's a possibility Mortimer would have brought that book with him if he had a copy of it.
But yeah, that is your knowledge of volcanoes. Possibly you got distracted through your volcano research and just reread Journey to the Centre of the Earth.
Yeah, that would explain the fumble.
Yeah.
Instead of reading the factual stuff, he read that.
So you're very familiar with the plot of that book? More so than I am.
But yes, Mortimer's not up to anything strange, really.
Yeah, I think according to that book, the Earth is full of dinosaurs. In the middle. So that might be true. But yeah, having done some reading, had a bit of a think, sharpened your knives, you gather downstairs in like this big sort of dining room, with a big wooden table, with the man who you met outside and a woman sort of dishing out like, it needs to be a dish of like baked fish served with, probably with like rye bread and potatoes. Fish is very fresh, and the rye bread seems to be freshly baked as well.
Oh, now I'm hungry.
Well, how are we feeling?
Much
Better.
refreshed.
This is great. I like it here.
Glad to see everyone is doing better. Did someone bring a map?
I think I've been just looking over it to get an idea where we're heading.
Oh, you have it. All right.
There's a possibility I probably brought it with me. Because it's a chance of result. Should we, after the food?
You have time. All time in the world.
Do we know how we're going to get there? Are we walking, or are we going to hire a cart or something?
What sort of distance is the closest one?
You take out your map, you get some string, you
It's about 25 miles or something like that.
you need to just hunt around for some string. You realise that you didn't actually bring any string. You have to go back upstairs to find the string. To
What's miles in meters anyway?
And you determine that the nearer ones are the ones are possibly about 120 kilometers away.
Quite a
Which
journey.
in miles would be... The map I was using, unfortunately, was not miles. Yeah, over 70 miles away. Across rocky and somewhat mountainous terrain in places. The nearest ones that are that are marked on your map.
It will be difficult to travel that distance, but I imagine we can find some beasts of burden. Perhaps a carriage proper? Something similar to one anyway.
Yeah, I think without a carriage, that is a non-viable distance. Not that I mind walking, but we have places to be.
Ooh.
I don't think they have railroads in Iceland yet.
No.
Well, that might be a clear sign for a stagecoach then.
I couldn't... Your host leans over. I couldn't help over here. You want to go to Hekla and Katla?
Yeah, we're not sure which one yet, but we are certainly interested for the view and the spectacle of seeing a volcano up close.
I have a cousin.
But it's not the Vesuvius because, you know.
Has ponies, if you want to make the trek. There are some volcanoes near Reykjavik, but they are not as impressive as if you want the view from the proper ones, the big ones.
Oh yes, the view, especially for painting.
You heard the lady. The ones near Reykjavik, they are they like, can you see the lava down below on those?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Thank goodness.
I mean,
we do not want it to erupting. Do not think any are erupting.
well, the only ones I know are the ones that people say that they might have been once, like ages before, but I've never seen one in person, so I have to.
If you want lava, then Katla, maybe.
Oh, that's going to be quite a distance. We're going to have to find a place for rest between there and here, aren't we?
Yes. Or you could get a boat and then walk from the coast.
Which is there? There's probably like a fishing village there.
Oh yeah, yes, there are fishing villages all around.
Portland / name Durhole.
Durhole.
Names are hard.
Which one's faster, do you think?
If most people who visit to go to volcanoes, they go get a boat north to go see the one the Frenchman wrote about. I don't know. 4 people this year come through want to see the famous volcano.
I see. Jules Verne.
One Jules Verne wrote about.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think we need a famous volcano, do we, Mister?
No, it doesn't have to be famous. I'd just like to be able to see the glory of a volcano. Try to get it to come across in my watercolors.
Well, I guess we'll take a boat south then to the Cutler.
The quickest route probably, it does sound as if a boat then travelling from the fishing village up to it would be the best.
Well,
Right.
I can talk to some people if you want. There's not many speak English or German.
I mean, having
Just
somebody
take a
that
bit
speaks
of
both
it.
languages would be useful.
If you like, I could guide you. But it would mean leaving the guest house and obviously would cost...
That sounds
More?
very appropriate. I would, slowly start to poke at how much he would want, and then probably say yes.
He names an amount, and I don't actually know what the currency of Iceland was at this time. He names some amount, and it seems to you an amount that you could afford. Like,
Yeah.
it's not that much, really.
That's fine, sure.
And he goes, well, tomorrow I go talk to some people, see who's got a boat, see who can take you out there, and then the day after, we go.
Perfection.
So tomorrow you have time to explore, relax, look around. Yes? Well, hopefully we see some lava.
I'll sure hope so.
Strange. And he nods, taps him out, and starts clearing away the dishes.
At least that part has been taken care of.
I would like to have a word with all of us in private.
Certainly.
Is there large enough space for all of us to have a word in private?
There will always
Cram
be
into
the
one.
outside.
Yeah, we could
Gareth,
all wander outside and have a look around the town, find somewhere.
Yes.
Just go to the places. I don't think people would speak English there.
Right. Oh. It won.
Does anything happen while we meander to a outside place?
as you meander outside the inn, you're getting looks from locals, sort of turning to look. You hear a few sort of muttered whispers in Icelandic as you pass by, but nothing that you understand.
The looks, do they look hostile? Or do they look curious? Or
Maybe a psychology roll.
Can everybody make this roll?
I think mostly they look curious. Like, you're strangers. You're strange strangers. You're wandering around and they're just, keeping an eye on you, watching you as you go. Your routes. You can see down the other end of the road is the other sort of guest house inn that you were pointed out to, about half a mile down the road. You recognise a couple of the geologists in Mr. Bellamy's cases, sort of outside in the process of being brought inside. But other than that, you don't see anyone you recognise wandering around Reykjavik.
Okay.
Oh,
I feel like this is taking the boat makes the most sense, and it definitely would look the most normal, which does matter for us. But since there's been talk of fish people, taking a boat out in secluded waters comes with a massive risk. Now, we should take the boat because, quite frankly, we're not going to get anybody who's going to be a better guide, although I am suspicious of anybody and everybody. So, for the purposes of us all not dying, I am going to go out on a limb, even though I shouldn't have to, but I'm going to stop fighting with you, Tannern, and I'm going to just be a more cool and calm person. With that being said, do not piss me off. So, let's just keep our wits about us as we're out on a crickety old boat, probably surrounded by fish people who want to eat us. Mortimer, don't stab me in the back with your sword cane. Johan, try not to flail about in combat. D'Angelo, you've done absolutely nothing that's eye-opening in terms of awfulness and almost killing me, so I appreciate that. And Elsie, as far as I can tell, you're pretty much close to perfect, so I don't really worry that much about you, but keep your awful, whatever her name is, Mrs. Banana or whatever.
She'll be with her.
Yes.
I am here and I have ears.
Well, I didn't know that you above table moment. I thought it was just all of us,
Oh, no,
so I
sorry.
might not. Okay.
We can roll that back.
Not
Sorry.
unaccompanied at this point. That's part of the reason why Elsie wanted your daughter to come as well.
Right. I don't want my daughter to die, but I don't think she would have that likely gone.
Essentially, if you assume, unless you slip away or somehow give her the slip.
Okay, I got you.
Assume that Cynthia is
She's going to
just
as a
a
chaperone.
malign presence that is there.
Okay. Then I would have. Oh, crap. I would have tried to come up with it. Can I do some like psychological thing to like distract her and like send her on about something like, oh, Mrs. Plum, look, there's.
Oh, look, the whole bishop over there. Let's just say she was trailing behind a bit when you began this conversation, so we don't have to redo the whole thing.
Gotcha.
She caught up just at the time as you were insulting her.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that was I'm from a different part of that was a term of endearment. I'm sorry. Anyway, now that we've had this riveting conversation, I'm gonna go back and read my book.
It's
Bye.
at this point that I need all of you to roll me a dexterity roll. As there is a rumble, a tremble, and the whole world seems to slide underneath your feet as the ground itself shakes and quakes and twitches. As you can see the houses around you, shutters rattling, tiles falling off roofs, things falling over with a crash as the ground shakes. And apart from Johan, everyone else hits the ground. You all
I am reaching out to grab somebody to keep from falling, if possible.
Cynthia pulled down with her.
Oh boy.
As everyone just gets knocked over.
Oh, damn it.
Out on the ground.
Mortimer, did you do that?
Nothing to do with me.
D'Angelo?
Looks like some of these volcanoes are a bit more active than we expected.
Yeah.
D'Angelo, what did you do?
Do not believe I have influence over the earth.
Either that was a volcano getting ready to erupt, or we just experienced an earthquake.
Keeper, how did the locals react to this?
With alarm, this seems to be not something they were expecting to happen. You hear sort of shouts of alarms, people grabbing things, picking them up, and a few people sort of pointing off into the distance where you can see off to the north a thin plume of smoke.
Well, I guess it's good that we chose the one in the south.
If you wanted to find lava, I suppose that way is prepared for you.
Just not sure whether it's a smart idea to go one that is actually just right now spewing lava and smoke.
I suspect the smoke would be quite counterproductive to our health.
Yeah. But it would cause a lot of free flowing lava for us to throw any things in we might want to throw in there.
Miss
Listen,
Plum,
what is it, frozen into-
I suggest we go back to the room. I'm covered in mud.
Oh dear, yes, let's get you cleaned up. Come on, dear.
I leave them behind to discuss what they need to discuss.
Oh, that was an awful shock. Awful shock. Let's get a nice cup of tea and get some rest.
Yes, I think so.
So, where should we go now?
I think whichever one we can get to the quickest, I suppose.
I think that would still be Kepler. Though we know that the one that's just spewing smoke is actually open and active.
That's a very good point.
Maybe another option. The book I was reading does mention an ability to connect 2 points in space. I admit that I have not read enough to understand fully what it does, so I cannot make any promises, but it may be what we need.
I mean, there's pros to either choice, really.
To be frank, a spell connecting 2 points in space together is probably something we should only be using like when there's absolutely no in no situation whatsoever other way. It might be permanent. Imagine we deciding to need to go to the equator and we just stick like the North Pole and the equator and destroy the entire planet to it.
So I don't know what any
these
of
things
that
do.
means.
But anyway,
But it
to,
makes sense.
which volcano we're going to go. Which one would be easiest to journey up for us?
I mean, looking at your map, you know that, like the peak of the nearest one to the coast to the south, Katla, is probably a good sort of 10 kilometers maybe from the coast, a bit less maybe, and that is a much sort of larger mountain than the one to the north where you saw the smoke rising, which is
That's what I
probably
was thinking.
about like 3 or 4 kilometers from the coast. I apologize once more for using kilometers. Oh, it does do miles.
So
Yeah, it's
the
about
one,
4 miles from the, maybe 3,
the
4.
one to the north is closer to the coast.
Yes.
So
The one,
I
and the one to the south is a much bigger, more mountainous region, so there's more mountains to climb.
the one to the north is the famous one. That'll look good for paintings, I suppose. And if it's about lava, it'll be interesting. We might get a good view.
Mortimer, I have a question.
Okay.
I operate under this assumption that no matter what it is we do doing this work, that something awful is going to happen to us. So, as far as I can tell, if we went to one volcano and something happened, we might be like, oh God, if only we had gone to the other one. But if we had gone to that other one, then something equally awful, if not even more awful, would have happened to us. And then we would have been like, oh no, if only we had gone to the other one.
Yeah.
So,
That
my
to
why
us.
don't let's just go to the easiest one let's just take the beating that is the most accessible to us, grit through it. We can throw all this shit in a volcano, and then I can retire. Let's do that.
Sounds a plan. So I think the one to the north is closer to the coast and probably an easier trek for us.
Yes, let's do that. And then, but quite frankly, if one volcano is better than the other for paintings, then we could even do that for the painting because it doesn't matter where we're gonna go. We're
Just
fucking
thinking of an
cursed.
excuse to add to the reason.
That's great. We're cursed. All of us are cursed. This is a cursed life full of curses that we curse.
Mr. Green, are you all right?
Shut up.
Do you need to start worrying about you?
Johan, I think
Yes.
there's something wrong with your face.
I don't. I think I like my face the way it is. Thank you.
Oh, it's that horrible smile you have. I turn around and I just go back to the room to get D'Angelo's book to continue reading it.
Keeper, is it possible to do a psychology roll on Augustus Green to see his mental state?
Yes.
Oh, actually, I'll spend 1 point.
I was going to answer, which is going to be, he's Augustus Green.
I'll spend
I
that
mean,
one.
he is Augustus Green. But even Augustus, as far as you recall, didn't used to be quite this erratic. And
But he seems to be not doing that well.
No, I don't think either. I mean, I'm very specifically provoking him to hit me in the hopes that it will, help him vent some of that stress. And he's just turning around and going away. That sort of rational behavior is not something I'm used to from that man.
Yeah, he's not been behaving himself recently, but I'm sure once this matter's done with, things will get better for us.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm quite worried about my friend here.
He needs something to distract himself or to hit, basically.
Yeah. We'll probably find some eldritch creature for him to hit.
Yeah, we are that unlucky. Actually, Keeper,
yes.
I'm just thinking, would I know of any strange mythos-type things to do with volcanoes and creatures associated with them?
Make me a mythos roll.
And I'll ask Mr. Williams as well. Are you familiar with any strange stories about creatures around volcanoes, myths, legends, that sort of thing?
And D'Angelo, you can make me a mythos or occult roll. Your choice.
We know nothing.
Nobody knows anything.
That probably means there's nothing for us to worry about.
Yeah, anyone else who wants to make the roll as they're thinking in their own time can do so.
I think. I don't think that doesn't mean nothing. I would suspect there be something relatable to one of the biggest destructive powers on the planet, though we just might not know. We might just not know.
In some situations, not knowing is for the best.
What sort of time of day is it, Keeper? Is it sort of evening? I'm guessing that would have been
Evening, yes.
evening meal.
That was your evening meal. At this point, the sun sets at the sensible time because we're at about the spring equinox, a few days past it. So you've got a bit of extra daylight, but we're not yet into white nights and all that.
We'll probably need to make preparations anyhow for the journey.
Yeah. Let's go get that boat filled up with some, rations and like emergency stuff. Wouldn't want to get caught out in that cold without a tent.
Alright, let's go and take care of the preparations and
There's
Rest.
do
The next
the
day?
preparations the next day, yeah.
During the next day, I'm going to take Miss Plum and we're going to scout out an area to sketch and draw for the day. Elsie is going to leave all preparations to the gentleman.
Okay, yeah. So you're heading out, scouting out a sketching point, and the gentlemen are gathering up supplies. You can obtain everything from, ropes, tents, all depends what you want to carry. What kind of equipment you want to gather. As you're doing so, your host is talking to, you see him down at the harbour talking to one of the fishermen. Actually, he would ask you over breakfast, like, is the plan still to head out tomorrow?
Indeed. Is that still acceptable for you?
Yes, I can get a boat. Still heading over to Katla?
I think we might be heading to the other one.
Alright,
Yes,
to the fire, I see.
Yeah, I think, well, that's the famous one after all. It may be an easier trek.
Well, you'll have company. I heard that, the rock guy, I reckon this place is,
Yeah, Mr. Bellamy. Oh,
heading over.
that's a happy coincidence.
He's, taking photographs of it. He wants to see it in action.
I'm still not used to people taking photographs.
We had a group in a couple of months ago. Those new portable Kodaks.
All the range.
Modern technology.
But yes, I'm sure we can head you over northwards. You know about all the dangers, right?
What are the dangers? We may know some of them, but we might not know all of them.
Well, first of all, this should probably not need explaining to intelligent gentlemen such as yourselves, but lava is hot. Do not touch it. Good? Yes.
Assumption, yeah.
Mountains are steep, don't fall off them. There can be dangerous gases in the air. If you start to feel dizzy, lightheaded, try and get some fresh air. Get away from that is most of them. Oh, and trolls.
Trolls?
Trolls?
Yeah, trolls.
Alright.
Is that
Troll.
local sort of myths, legends?
Oh, no, the trolls, they're as real as the fairies. The elves.
What could you tell us about these trolls then?
Well, they live on the mountains, and if they get angry, they shake the mountains and throw rocks at people.
Oh, well, let's hope they're not angry.
But they are friends with the elves, so if you keep the elves happy, then the trolls are happy.
How do you keep the elves happy?
You give them an offering before you go anywhere. I don't know.
Where do you give these offerings?
The elf house.
And I'm assuming they've had these little elf houses around the
Yeah,
place.
they live just out, not in the town. Elves don't like the town. They live outside in the hills. If you're planning on doing anything dangerous and going into where the elves live, you go and make sure the elves are happy first. You don't... Yeah, it is...
Oh, why not?
Some people call it superstition, but I always think, if it is superstition, no harm done.
Well, there's always some truth in old superstitions, you never know.
And if there are elves, then I'd rather they be happy.
A bit of milk and bread?
Yes.
I'm sure we'll drop some gifts off for them on the way up. Or before we set off. Whichever's easiest.
As, I don't think you do this, Augustus, who does actually know a little bit of mythos from his reading and experiences. The only stuff you know about volcanoes would be there is a mention in you read it somewhere in one of the weird nerd books that you've been reading about a god of volcanoes. You saw the word written, and you've never heard the word said aloud. So, you're not entirely sure how it should be pronounced. But you think from the way it was written, it looks a bit like Gatanothoa. Gatanothoa?
Gathanatoa?
Gatanothoa.
Gathanathoa.
I will write it down. Who is the god of the volcano.
And did I get any inkling of like he was a good god, a bad god, me?
From the suggestion, they are a god to be feared and avoided. It was only the briefest of mentions that the people who came before once worshipped this god, the god of the volcano.
Okay. Hey, D'Angelo.
Yes.
You ever heard of Gathanatoa, the rock and roller, something like that? I read it.
Sure,
I read that name
suppose so.
in a book. Apparently, yeah. So I've been reading these nerd books, broaden my horizons, for some damned reason. And this is the volcano god. He has old worshippers. The people who came before worshipped him, and he's to be feared and avoided. So we'll be going up to one of his volcanoes. I presume it's a he. And hopefully he likes evil artifacts being dumped in there.
Well,
But
this is good that you all learned a learned man.
yeah, I hate it. Can't wait to walk away from all of this.
Oh, I will do some more research on this being in the meantime. But for now, we can avoid upsetting the volcano.
I purposefully think we should compliment the volcano as we approach it.
I will leave that to Mr. Zertanen. He is very good at
Nothing. Very good.
complimenting.
Bye. I go back to my reading the book.
Apart from studying, reading, buying supplies, and watercoloring, is there anything else you would like to do that day?
We still do have time until we reach the volcano, right?
Yes, the plan is to go tomorrow,
All right.
because your host needed time to find a boatman and make
Yeah,
all
I
the
think I'll just,
arrangements.
take some time, relax. Occasionally throw it like like watch a bit the horizon in the area where the plume of smoke is coming from, just in case something's awry. But otherwise, take your time.
The plume of smoke seems to have thinned a little, but there's a few more sort of... still is there. There's been no more earthquakes since the one last night.
Oh, it seems fine then.
But as you are any of you back at the guest house, or are you all wandering around? Reykjavik?
Elsie's set up pretty stationary. She is actually drawing like part of the town with the smokestack in the far distance. She's drawing that. And willing to show the work to anybody who stops and asks her about it.
Okay, first of all, could you mind giving me a little spot hidden as you're doing this, as you're... And also a drawing roll for the quality of the painting. An art roll.
Okay, the first one was a fail, but the art was a hard success.
The art is beautiful. You're focused on it. And sort of Cynthia's sat off to one side, sort of half dozed off reading her book. And as you hear a voice behind you. Oh wow, that's splendid! You recognise the voice of Mr. Bellamy, the the geologist. You've
Oh,
quite the
Miss-
you've quite the talent. You've really captured it.
Thank you. This is why we're here. Uh, you know my chaperone, and the gentleman we're here with are really who planned this trip. Uh, really, mostly just for me to do this. I
Wow,
thought this would
yeah.
be quite interesting.
Yes, I've been trying to get a good photograph of that all morning, and it doesn't show up as well on film as you lack the color and the contrast.
Yeah, would you like this?
What? I was wanted to be forward enough to ask whether I could purchase it off you. I'm putting together obviously papers and notes concerning my trip, and a really good illustration of the volcano would be with all credit to you, of course, miss.
Oh, yes, I can finish this up, and we're leaving tomorrow to go to that volcano actually, so that I can get maybe a closer look for my paintings. I can have this given to you tomorrow before we leave, or if you're still here when we get back.
That would be marvelous. It really is very good.
Thank you.
You've quite the talent. But, I'm off today. I managed to catch a boat heading over to the volcano, so I best be on my way. Good to meet you. Properly.
Do you have an address I can send this to? If
Yes,
we
I'm
don't
at
cross
the
paths?
guest house at the end of the street. Oh, you mean an address in London?
Mhm.
Yes, I'm just off Tavistock Gardens.
Okay.
Just send an address.
Yes, thank you. I will. If I don't cross your
Well,
paths,
it's my cousin's address, really. I'm not there often enough to fully claim it as my own, but when I'm not chonking up a mountain in Wales somewhere, that's where you can find me.
All right. Thank you.
Right, well, good day. As he heads on his way. As for the rest of you, who's back at the guest house and who's...
Probably headed back to the guest house. We're not setting off today, though, is it?
No, tomorrow.
Well,
As you head back to the guest house...
D'Angelo would be there as well.
Okay. So the three of you are there, and your host is still off sorting boat trips and arrangements. The only person back at the guest house is your host's wife, Thelma, who is busy in the kitchen. There's no sign of Mrs. Walsh. I don't know if Johan's with you currently.
Don't think so. I think Johan would take the time to just take a walk around town, just exploring, casual, not actually looking for anything, just like taking in like the fresh air and the view.
Hey, would you give me a spot hidden too whilst you're wandering around town?
No,
Good to know.
but it's beautiful landscape.
Beautiful landscape. Lovely landscape. So yes, the rest of the day passes without incident until about... what are you all doing at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
I'm reading.
Might just be returning right now to the tavern.
Yes, cleaning up where she's been drawing all day and returning back.
if was it 4 o'clock? You said.
Yes.
Chances are you wouldn't have stayed in the room all this time. You would have been wandering. And probably heading
D'Angelo would be reading.
back to the guest house.
Well, I need you all to give me another dexterity roll. As once again, the entire ground trembles beneath your feet as you see another sort of plume of smoke rising off from the mountain in the distance. Yes, Elsie?
I've properly fallen again. Do I need to throw a save to protect my drawing from being
I'm
destroyed
going to
by
say, make me a luck roll. I'm going to, yeah.
That's a success.
What'd you ask?
You didn't drop. I was going to make. That's why I was finding out what people were doing, whether anyone was doing anything risky. You do not. You see as your waterfall flutters away and lands just like this far from a puddle, just on the dry ground. The rest of you variously drop your books, get knocked to one side, but none of you have currently decided that moment to try and balance on one leg on the top of a tall building, so you take no serious injury.
D'Angelo.
Yes, Mr.
D'Angelo.
Green.
You
Yes,
remember what
Mr.
I was
Green.
telling you about that God-forsaken God? He's
I
pissed.
do indeed.
He's pissed. He's pissed. He knows we're here. He doesn't want our artifacts. He is pissed. We have already pissed off a god in record time.
It is possible, but there could be other reasons for volcanic activity.
It's us. D'Angelo, it's us. Come on. It's us. You know we're cursed. And we chase curses. Because we live a cursed lives. And let me point this out to you. There's a lot of pressure on me. Because if somebody in our party has to punch a god, it's going to be me. Have you ever punched a god, D'Angelo? Huh?
I don't think very many people have.
Yeah, that's
ever done
right.
such a
Another
thing.
first. I gotta. D'Angelo, come with me. We have to start a boxing club. I gotta tune up. We're going god punching tomorrow.
I appreciate your enthusiasm, Mr. Green, but I feel that will probably not be necessary.
You're right. The old right hand, the old left got me this far. It'll carry me home. Back to your book.
Oh yes, having all made your way back to the guest house or being there previously, the 5 of you gather round the table for dinner once more, with the host and his wife bustling around in the background. Tonight there is one empty seat at the table.
Has Miss Walsh left us?
Oh, she said she was going with the geologist on the boat.
Ah, yes.
It was only a little boat. I could not get all of you on that one. I tried.
Oh,
but
how are the two of them doing?
they went lunchtime. I think they were supposed to bring Mrs. Walsh back, and the geologist wanted to stay out there because he is a madman who studies rocks. But
Oh, he's not that bad.
I would have expected them back by now. Perhaps they're running late.
I mean, I think the person that the last madman that studies rocks is now like the sponsor of one big prize for science all over the planet. So you never know where the madman that goes and studies rocks ends up with, right? Might be just a madman, might be some new knowledge for humanity.
And too bad you couldn't have given him that encouragement when you first met him, huh, buddy? I polish off my plate and I go back to my bedroom.
Well, he is quite the gentleman, and he saw the drawing that I did earlier, and he'd like it for his publishing. As his photographs didn't seem to catch the smoke well enough.
Photographs didn't catch the smoke well enough, but your drawings did?
Remember, they're black and white photographs.
Yeah, the photographs aren't that good at this time period.
Mm-mm.
Fascinating. Must be the grayscale that, doesn't really like the roiling smoke over a volcano.
Did you manage to get a good picture drawn then?
Yes, I have it upstairs. Is this a 2-story or a 1-story? I have it in the room.
2-story, yeah. In my mind, it's definitely had an upstairs. I never described it, but it had an upstairs in my brain.
It's in the room. I can, if you'll excuse me for a moment, I can go fetch it.
Oh yeah, I would love to see your work.
I'll go and get it and bring it back.
It is very good.
This looks better than the original.
It's very impressive.
Well, I spent all day working on it.
Is there anything interesting on it, Kiefer, other than the volcano? I'm just wondering how much detail she captured with a hard success on it.
Quite a bit of foreground, as it's got a lot of the town in it from where I was standing.
Yeah, you can give me a spot hidden to see if you can spot anything in this.
Let's see. That's a fail. He does.
No, you don't see the 16 snake people hidden behind barrels on the left-hand side of the picture.
Yeah.
I feel Elsie should have spotted as she was painting them. But...
As she drew some snake people just in the background. Snake people from one side, fish people from the other. No, so that's okay. So you didn't know.
A whole volcano made of fish people and snake people. The ultimate nightmare.
This is a very good drawing.
Yes, well, I hope he's able to get this published, because that would be quite fantastic.
It would be. And perhaps you'll get a chance to get a better picture the closer we get.
You get served another dinner that is, again, mostly fish-based. And evening turns into night. And unless there's anything else anyone wants to do, you manage a nice, uninterrupted night's sleep before the day you plan to head off to the volcano. When you wake in the morning, there is breakfast waiting for you downstairs, bright and early. And still no sign of Mrs. Wolf.
I hope she is all right. I imagine they may be moving slower than expected.
They wait, didn't they go together to the volcano?
The same one we're heading to, so we may meet them on the way.
Yeah. I mean,
Get some answers.
They're dead.
Please
They're
don't
dead.
say that.
I'm just telling you what I'm feeling. And I feel that they're no longer with us.
Hopefully those quakes didn't cause them any problems, but it's very possibly if they were travelling with the cart's wheels were damaged and they've been stuck. Or something along those lines, but we'll see.
There's no need to worry too much. We will discover the answer soon enough, I imagine.
yeah, probably.
Oh,
D'Angelo, I finished your book last night.
Oh, very impressive, Mr. Green.
What did you think about the ending? Would you have called that a happy or a sad ending?
I don't know. It is entirely up to the reader, I suppose. Happiness and sorrow are oftentimes two
Subjective.
sides of the same coin.
No.
Could not have put it better myself, Mr. Green.
I thought it was a sad ending, not Mr. My friend. And the reality of it is that it's sad because the people who are gone, and the people who were left are just left to end up being gone later.
That is a very interesting outlook, Mr. Green. Just not traditionally what I would expect from you.
Let's go punch a god.
That is More or less what I would have expected from you.
So, yeah. Having had your breakfast, packed all your things, you head down along with your host, who I never actually named. His name is John. John Iverson. As he takes you down towards the harbour where there is a boat waiting. John gives a wave to the boatman, this fisherman. He points out and goes, "This is my cousin Helgi. He speaks no English, but he can sail a boat. And this is Helgi's boat. So, unless anyone has any objection, you, me, Helgi and Helgi's boat are
Sounds
heading
like
to
a
the
plan.
volcano."
I'm just
Will there be room on
double-checking
this?
that Sorry.
Oh, no, you go ahead. I apologize.
No, I was just going to say I'm double checking that I have everything that I need for the art at least. So the watercolor paints, paintbrushes, the pencils, the graphite pencils, the sketchbook as well as canvas. Should be in a nice, neat little bag.
Yeah, all but
Yeah.
rolled and wrapped against water in case of spray on the boat.
I was going to ask, as like just make an observation. Maybe I don't know if there'd be a role for it. If we had to fit 2 more people and maybe some of their items on this boat, would there be room?
Yes, with a bit of shuffling around. It's quite a big boat.
Okay.
Like, this is not like a little tiny skiff. This is a decent sized boat with room for a big fishing catch on it that it doesn't currently have.
Angelo has his weapons and books and vest.
Okay. So, as you climb into Cousin Helgi's boat and push away from the docks at Reykjavik, turning towards the plume of smoke rising from the volcano to the north, that is going to be where we finish for tonight.